if I saw another day, only to scream into the night. Nothing ever tries to change, even if I want to realize. 'Cause I've been sitting here, same old ways, taking off about the same mistake. Darling, when you go away, it won't be as simple for you.
Yo, guys, old man G here, back again. I literally, everything is going wrong today, guys. Everything is going wrong today. My camera's just decided to brick it up for whatever reason. I don't exactly know why, so hopefully everyone can hear me. Remember to like the video, subscribe to Red Devil Studio if you're new. Let me just... Yeah, okay, I'm good. Right, okay. So Andon, I see you in the background. I'll bring you on. Jeez, my goodness. Yeah, it's not. I don't know. And let the show must come. I'm already late already. I'm sorry. Computer issues. Manchester United bricking it. I generally don't really know where to start here, to be honest. Manchester United basically bricked this. Manchester United basically bricked this, and I'm going to start with a 1-10 HAG. A 1-10 HAG because, guys, we blew it. It's as simple as that. We blew it. Actually, you know what? Sorry. Before I stop, hang on for a second. One second, guys. 1 second. Sorry about that, everyone. It's just brickish internet. Just you know what? It's fine. We'll just carry on with the show. I'm sorry, guys. Let me just keep on going here. So apologies for everyone. I'm usually not this unprofessional, so sorry. Niall says 2 words of mentality from Man United because we couldn't see out the game, and as far as 3 of the mentality was much better by coming back the way they did. I don't disagree with that at all. I don't disagree with that. I mean, let's just quickly start the game, guys. Manchester United bottled that. But the reality is that in the first half, certainly, Manchester United played some of the best football I've seen them play all season. Fantastic, brilliant football, fast pace, and Sevilla can cope. And to be honest, in that first half, it should have been 4-0 up. The tie should have been dead. Okay, the tie should have been dead. Okay, so the one thing I'll sort of say is in the first half, and to a certain extent in the first probably 15, 20 minutes of the second half, United need to score a third goal. And the chance after chance, and we've seen a kind of pattern this all season where I don't know it's because United, you know, Martial, shouts Martial, brilliant, really good. We know the talent of Anthony Martial. The key of Martial is, can he remain fit? That's been the problem. Can he remain fit? Sabitzer obviously had a good game. Shout out to Sabitzer. Did really well. Awesome. Great. Love it. Thank you, Sabitzer. And you're thinking, okay, Manchester United are going to be doing something. Manchester United is going to be doing something. Shout out to Eddie, sorry. I just seen your comment. Big up RDS in the chat. Only caught a bit of the game. Marcy Maguire really shut the bed. Then I should have kept more on his video. I see this thing. I think people see. This is what obviously I love you, Eddie. But I actually don't think the fault lies with Maguire. Like at the end of the day, Maguire and Malacia were unlucky. And the thing is, a lot of United fans are going to just suddenly pile on Maguire and Malacia for their mistakes. It is not that they are not the reason why we lost the game. That's stuff like that happens is unlucky. You know, maybe Malacia could have done better seeing the ball, not letting the ball bounce. But I can't really blame Maguire. Like, what is Maguire supposed to do? You know, this is what I'm saying is that the reality is we created so many chances in that game. If this was a City or a PSG or something like that, they put 4 or 5 past the Sevilla team. We should have, at home with the atmosphere, destroyed Sevilla. In the first 60 minutes, we should have been 4 or 5 up. And regardless of what happens after it, the injuries, the own goals, the tie should be put to bed. That didn't happen. That did not happen. And what happened was 2-0, as I've said so many times in the past, 2-0 is a very, very, very dangerous scoreline. 2-0 is a very, very, very dangerous scoreline. And what happened? Well, you saw what happened. Yes, okay, fine. We had to take off Anthony Martial to protect him, you know, because he's winning the games. I get that substitution. I get that. That makes sense. We had to take off Varane because of the injury. Again, get that, makes sense. That's unlucky. We didn't want to have to do that, but we had to do that. What I didn't understand, and by the way, guys, the referee was awful today. The referee was total garbage. Total garbage. Was so bad. Why Bruno Fernandes is getting a red card like that is, sorry, a yellow card like that is beyond me. Like, the referee was awful. The referee was awful today. Like, I've got no idea why. And he misses, obviously, the next game. He's suspended. I have no idea. Sorry. I have no idea why that was a yellow card. Someone needs to explain that to me, because it was not a yellow card. Malacia has to do better for the first goal. No excuse for that one. I'm not worried about the result. I'm worried about Martinez's injury and wishing rest of the season. Yes, I get that, Chris. I get that he does have to do better. He does have to do better for that. But I'm not going to put the reason why we had that disaster class on Malacia or Maguire, when quite frankly we should have been at that point, because you look at it. It was 84 minutes. 84 minutes, and we were 2-0 up. Okay, we should. So I'm just looking at 84 minutes. Manchester goal, then 90 minutes. Maguire own goal. 80 and Lisandro comes off on I think the 86th minute, and we'll play for 10 minutes. So for 80 minutes, we were 2-0 up. Only 2-0 up. Okay, and here's what I'm going to get on to big point, because we should have easily won that game 4, maybe 5-0. Then anything that comes after that is irrelevant, in my personal opinion. Instead, what Ten Hag does, which was a massive, massive, massive problem, and this is why it's in my title, Ten Hag cost us. Ten Hag cost us the game, because yes, I get it. Martial has to come off. I get that. Okay, I get that maybe you want that Varane had to come on because he was injured. But can someone explain why Bruno had to come off when he was already suspended? There was no reason for Bruno Fernandes to come off. Anthony got a yellow card. Okay, maybe you take off Anthony because he got a yellow card, possibly. But I generally don't see the rationale. Like, I still would have probably kept Anthony on, to be honest. But I generally Anthony on, like Anthony, Sancho. Okay, maybe Sancho. Okay, maybe, but Alanga didn't really do that much. Let's keep the stack. But so with Bruno's substitution, the Sancho substitution, the Anthony substitution, I don't get that. And then suddenly, we don't have a sub. Lisandro gets injured, and we're down to 10 men for the last. Of course, Sevilla are going to pile on pressure. It was coming. It was inevitable. What was going to happen? So, if you're going to put most of the blame on why we had the result, you've got to put it on Ten Hag, on the manager. It gave me actually Spurs Ajax vibes. Spurs Ajax vibes, whereby sorry for the guys who are tuning in. Apologies, I'm having camera issues. I don't know why. I'm having camera issues. I don't know. That's all I can say. In fact, maybe let's try that. Does that work? Yes, camera sorted. Thank God. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Okay, we're back. You could actually see me now. Sorry. Yeah. I'm still fuming. It's on Ten Hag, guys. I'm sorry. It's on Ten Hag. It's on Ten Hag, guys. It was that the subs change, and the thing is, it's they changed the nature of the game. They changed the nature of the game when those subs came on. I mean, if you really let me have a look. Like, if you really wanted to, like the subs were all. I'm looking at it now. I'm like, you had Lindelof and Fred. Like, you had Lindelof and Fred. Like, Fred could have come on. Like, why Eriksen came on? Like, I just don't. I'm just trying to understand the logic of it, because Weghorst coming on for Martial. Okay, I get that. That makes sense. Okay, but Eriksen coming on over Fred in this game, when Fred can give you, I don't know what's like. I don't know why Fred is gone on Ten Hag's thing. I don't understand why, but Fred certainly would have given you far more energy than Eriksen. Eriksen doesn't have his legs aren't there. You start Eriksen. You don't bring him on to try and hold a game. You don't do that. Fred would have also given you a bit more defensive ability as well. And then obviously you got Dalot. Dalot can potentially come on. You know, for you play a free at the back with Dalot, or Victor Lindelof can come on as well, outside of Harry Maguire. Something like I'm not Ten Hag out or anything like that. So like, Eriksen needs minutes. Not in this game though. Not in this game. I don't like yeah. If you Eriksen is why didn't Eriksen like this? This is what I'm saying. Is like, you don't put someone on to give them minutes when you're only 2-0 up in a game that's now going against you. Like, if it was 3-0, fine, I would agree with you. Get the third goal, which is, for me, was the priority, and then okay, you can bring on people for minutes, but not at 2-0. Not at 2-0. And if the aim with Ten Hag was to say, right, at 2-0, we'll just hold on to a result and take that to Sevilla, then Eriksen is the type of player that you put on. You know? Let me just quickly read some comments. And Andon, I see you in the back chat. I'll bring you back in. Shout out to Rasmus, says hello. Rasmus says, an absolute shit show by Eriksen. Exactly, I've explained that. Two massive mistakes plus too much quads coming off led to this. And yes, United did indeed miss too many chances before that. Way too many. Way too many. And this is, and to a certain extent, this has been a theme at times this season when we've actually lost results, when it cost us games. Against Southampton, I remember before Casemiro got his sent off. Where even not against Newcastle because we were awful. But again, previous games we've seen this. We've seen this. Matteo says, Ten Hag, we had to bring on Vance Bruno as they were on bookings, so we had to make subs. Then we lose control and unlock him out and we switched off. Okay. I'm not sure I understand that logic. They're on bookings. So, but Bruno doesn't make sense though. Bruno doesn't make sense because if Bruno gets a red card, like irrespective, if Bruno, like Anthony makes sense, I'll give you that. But Bruno doesn't make sense because Bruno's already like, unless Ten Hag didn't know that Bruno's suspended for the next game, if Bruno gets a red card, he'd still just miss out the one game. He's not going to miss 2 games, unless, correct me if I'm wrong. If it would be 2 games, but as far as I'm aware, he would only miss the 1 game. So it's irrelevant. He's not playing anyway, so keep him on. Like if that's true, then then for Bruno that makes 0 sense, and that tells me that he wasn't clued in as to what was going on. There's no reason why Bruno should have been subbed, and you can make a case for maybe Sancho as well, or at least for Langa. That doesn't make sense to me. And the thing is, the subs that came on made 0 sense, bar Weghorst for Martial. Especially when you have, if you want to hold on to the result, you have Fred and Lindelof. Go defensive, hold on to the result, that's fine. Eriksen and Weghorst don't make you more defensive. Elanga doesn't make you more defensive. When was the last time Elanga contributed anything? Yeah, he keeps getting chances. Imagine not even letting him leave on loan. Yeah, he should have been. Elanga should have gone on loan a long time ago. I'm sorry. Ten Hag subs weren't that crazy. I really don't believe it was the reason for the goals we conceded. I blame. No, I don't. I blame him for Balak after that with us going down to 10 men. I don't think the subs are the reason why we conceded, but I think it gave. It's a combination. It's a combination of the fact that we should have put away our chances. Because again, the own goal came at 84 minutes. And we were down to 10 men at 86 minutes, which means that we had 80 plus minutes to score more than 2 goals. So part of the blame goes on the attackers because we created enough chances to at least be 4-0 up. And then secondary blame goes to Ten Hag because those substitutions affected the dynamic of the game. And I would have at least said, at least keep one of them. We didn't need to make all of those substitutions. And, Lisandro gets injured, which looks like an Achilles injury. So he's going to be out for a while. He is going to be out for a while, guys. I'm sorry. I looked at it. I'm a medic. I'm not perfect, so I'm not MSK. But looking at it, he holds the back of his ankle. No one touches him. Like it's Achilles, and that it's Achilles, guys. It's bad. He's not going to be with us for the rest of the season. I'll tell you that. I will tell you that Lisandro Martinez is out for the rest of the season. He is out for the rest of the season, which means that you're left with, and Varane, goodness knows. So we've gone from a situation when we're playing sexy football, it's great, it's awesome, to potentially we might not even get top 4 because our first starting centre backs are out. I doubt Varane is going to be available for next leg. I doubt. So you're left with Maguire and Lindelof, and be McTominay, Eriksen's. Oh God, right. The game is the least important of all 3. We remain in the FA Cup, and top 4 is bigger priority. I'm like, as far as I'm concerned, like top 4 and FA Cup are in danger because we play Brighton the weekend, and there's no Rashford. Bruno will obviously be able to play, but there's no Varane and Lisandro Martinez. I'm worried about Brighton. I'll tell you that I'm worried. Talking about Weghorst, what chance he has to bits the back heel, yet he decides to pass it. And I say, is he really? Yes, let's not talk about Weghorst. He's a body. I personally prefer to give Eriksen minutes tonight than in the league. I just don't see. We can agree to disagree, but like for me, when you want to, I just don't see if they wanted to give him minutes, he should have started. Because for me, that's not game management. When you give a player minutes, it's usually because the game is already won. And for me, at 2-0, the game wasn't won. Shout out to Antonio. I see you guys in the back. I will bring you guys in a sec. We missed too many chances. That's what cost us. Not Ten Hag. He's partially responsible, Mo. I think it's both, but he's partially responsible. Those subs didn't make much sense. Half of them, I would say. And it contributed to the game. It almost gave me Spurs Ajax vibes. Game management could have been a lot better. I hear your point on this. I think Tanag got things wrong, but I hope he has now rested players who we sharp in the league now. That is a priority with this Finn Scott. Well, it doesn't matter because we're down to. I mean, see this is the thing. I know that he couldn't have predicted it, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Does it matter now because we have our two centre backs are out? So now the situation as we go, if we had focused on seeing out the game and getting the dub, now instead of focusing, instead of thinking about giving players minutes and next leg and whatever, then potentially we could have got our 4-0 and then going into Sevilla, then you rest players. Now we have to go to Sevilla, not resting players, and we have the Brighton FA Cup game. So we shot ourselves in the foot. We shot ourselves in the foot, man. We shot ourselves in the foot. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Let me bring guys. You guys been waiting in the back for a while. Okay, so Aiden and Antonio. Aiden, you've been waiting the longest. What were your thoughts on the game, buddy?
Yeah, okay. It's no problem. Listen, you never do when your team is playing good. You never ever do 3 substitutions at once. It completely changes the game.
Yeah.
I think that was the biggest problem that United had this evening. After those 3 substitutions, everything just like stopped. It was a completely different half than the first half.
Yeah.
But the positive is Sabitzer is so underrated signing, so they have to do anything possible to keep him. For the price they can get him, he's worth a lot. But again, in the end, I know everybody hates on Maguire. It's not completely his fault, but there's something about that guy that just doesn't work with United. Every time he plays, something happens. Sometimes he's just not meant to be. In the end, it's painful to draw like that, 2 own goals, two mistakes by the defense, and basically allowing Sevilla to draw the game while they didn't play anything. They didn't show basically anything.
Yeah.
So it's kind of difficult pill to swallow, but again, the biggest mistake, as I said, was Ten Hag making 3 substitutions at the same time. You never ever do that unless unless your team is playing bad, so you want to make a positive change. But when you're playing good, you can just give them time to focus. For example, you can make the substitutions again, but have like 5 or 10 minutes difference while you're making them, so they can adjust. Not like that. But again, in the end, for United, it's much more important to focus on the league and to make sure they get top 4. Sorry about that. And to get
your phone.
I have a phone call. Let Antonio.
No worries. Okay, we'll go to Antonio. Antonio, buddy, what are your thoughts on this game?
Hey RDS, how are you doing, man? It's been a while.
I'm doing good. Forza Milan, by the way. Forza Milan, man, guys.
Thanks for having me on.
Guys. I'm backing you guys to get to the final, man. So, and I need you guys as the last form of defense in case Man City decides to somehow get to the final, because they can't win the Champions League, and I need you guys to do something if you do make it to the final. So, but anyway, yeah. And thoughts on the game, Antonio, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, and I will say thank you also for mentioning Rossoneri on Have Hope's channel. I saw that, so I appreciate you and much respect to you. Yeah, so the game today, before the game started, I was thinking that this was going to be one of those typical heritage upsets, maybe, and where I thought United is obviously the much better team, and Sevilla is pretty poor, I think, this season in terms of their very inconsistent in their form. But and in the beginning of the game, United at home, you guys are playing very, very fluid, great goals, great movement, obviously the much better team. The problem is when you play these teams in Europe, sometimes, you can't even explain it. There's no logic to it. Things just go their way. And if you switch off, you get substitutions. We saw that with the luck that happened. They got very lucky on those last plays. And it was kind of overall, Malacia, I think, should be blamed a lot as well. But also, obviously, Maguire and just the positioning. It feels like the back line just wasn't focused at the very end. But overall, I thought it was United played very well. I said this in the chat that before, when I saw the scoreline 2-0, I thought United isn't safe yet because Sevilla in the Europa League, things just go their way. So I was thinking that maybe they could go back to Spain and do something in Spain just because of how crazy they are. But then this happened. It kind of proved what I was thinking. I just had a feeling that if you don't, focus, they will punish you. It's like they got nothing to lose. But listen, I don't know. I think obviously top 4 should be a priority. But at the same time, though, like if I was Man United, like you guys won the Carabao Cup this year, I think you guys with Ten Hag, you can do something more, right? You guys can be Man United, go for more trophies, and I would think that obviously, teams left in the Europa League. You have Juventus, who is in good form, to be fair. They could be a real competition, but besides Juventus, like you guys definitely have. You should be the favorites to win the competition, in my opinion. So I would expect you guys would go and compete for the trophy. So I do want to see United make it far. I think that you guys. I mean, I'm not one of those fans that says that like completely ignores the Europa League just because it's the second European competition. If I was here, I really respect the Europa League winner, and I would really want us to go and get that trophy.
On top of that, so if there is, because obviously with the injuries to Varane and Martinez, as I think Chris is saying, top 4 is in danger. With Martinez, he's such an important player. Europa League might be the only shot of Champions League football if next season, if top 4 is. I personally, I'll come to that towards the end. I'll give my thoughts. I still think top 4 is fairly comfortable given the fixtures that United have left, because United aren't playing. They pretty much played all of the top 7 teams. The only concerns are probably away to Brighton, and then Chelsea at home. I don't know whether Chelsea at home is considered a concern at this point. But yeah, the hardest fixture is probably Brighton away. Everything else is bottom half of the table. So I'd like to think that even with those injuries, and I say this with some trepidation because I'm now saying, I'm thinking, but what happens if Varane and Martinez are out for ages? Then that means that we're going to be left with potentially Maguire and Lindelof as the centre backs again, and like, oh no. So maybe you have to put Luke Shaw left centre back and Lindelof. Maybe that's what you have to do as a makeshift. I can't have Maguire and Lindelof together again. Like I can't. Just don't do that. But yeah. Sorry, go on, Antonio.
No, yeah, that's a great point. I was gonna say about Maguire, like it feels like it's like I don't even know what to think about Maguire because it just feels like something is wrong. Like it's not like he's doing just he's not making a bunch of mistakes, but it's like his positioning, his sort of relationship with the other players and the way he falls in the back four, just it's awkward. It doesn't feel natural. It doesn't feel like you guys are solid at all when he's there. And so I can't really explain it. He's like an anomaly. I've never seen something like this in terms of like a football player.
He doesn't have confidence. He doesn't have confidence. And I don't know whether, like Ten Hag throwing him in here. I mean, I guess maybe he threw him because he's taller. So the air. I mean, I can understand it from something because the aerial threat of Sevilla's attackers. You want to be able to clear the ball, so I can kind of understand that. Maguire's air ability is good, so I'll give him that. Actually, where was Scott McTominay today? Because I would have probably played him in. Is he injured? I don't see McTominay here on the bench at all. Anyway, it's fine. Sorry. So go on, Antonio. Go on.
I was just gonna say, but like, also, what are the odds that like? Okay, I think it was Nesri, El Nesri. I forget who scored the goal or who headed it. What are the odds that he goes up, hits a bullet header, but it's going diagonally, towards the corner?
It's wide.
And
It's wide.
Maguire, like, he turns his head and changes the direction completely, and the speed is still there to beat De Gea. Like, I can't. I mean, that's like unbelievable. I've never seen, and it happened twice. 2 like crazy deflections. I mean, that's also it's unlucky, but at the same time, the next game, Sevilla now at home, it works out for them. I don't know how things work out for them, and now they're going to feel really energized.
Yeah, it's we really didn't. We really. I mean, you know, to be honest, outside of those chances, I don't think Sevilla. I don't think De Gea had much to do. Like Sevilla basically didn't do anything in my opinion, for 80 minutes. Yes, United won as good in the second half, but for 75 minutes, I don't think Sevilla. I mean, in fact, let's look at the match. Let's look at the match stats. Actually, let me look
on this point. By the way, I don't know if you were watching Mark Goldbridge, but right before Sevilla scored, Goldbridge said that they could play the rest of the season. Like this game could last the rest of the season, and Sevilla wouldn't score because of the way they were playing.
He's a jinx.
And he just completely jinxed the. Like it was too good to be true.
He's a jinx. They had 13 shots, but I've seen that a lot of that came in the last 10 minutes or so.
And you guys hit the crossbar, and
so this is what I'm saying. So we were unlucky in moments. I don't disagree with that. I mean, just looking at some comments again, guys. Rasmus says, "Nah, Sancho isn't doing anything. He had an okay game, but what else? You got time off, enough patience. We need to get rid of him. Might have but enough is enough." I know. Well, I mean, at the end of the season, we are going to have a season review where we're going to rank where keep or so rank some of players, because there's certain players that I think and this will be when the new owners are confirmed. Hopefully they will. We need to have a conversation about who stays and who goes, and we need to now be ruthless. I actually love Martial. I love Martial. I think he was great today. But to be honest, I'm still on his case, because there's no point in you having a brilliant game for 60 minutes when you're not available for the majority of the season. And he's not the only one. So I think in the summer we need to do better, to be honest, if you think we're going to challenge on all fours. Let quickly think. Christmas, even if Bruno didn't sub, Martinez would have still played and got injured. That's a much bigger talking point than not winning this match. Results tonight I have little concern about. Would Martinez have gotten injured? I don't know, because you can make an argument. Would we have had more control Bruno on? I mean, personally, to be honest, I would have. What I just want to know is, was Ten Hag's bringing Eriksen and Weghorst on, and Elanco on, was it that he wanted to go and get a second goal? Or was it that he wanted to hold on to what he had? That's what I want to know. Because if he wanted to see out the game, Fred and Lindelof, possibly even Dallo, or going to back three, for me would have made more sense. Bringing people on that have pace and energy. But I don't know. And shout out to Christian, who says, hola, heard Maguire. Yes, he scored. Thank you, like the vid. Thank you, Christian. Shouts out to Milan, by the way. I agree. Shaw for centre back when he returns. Yes, Shaw. I would pay. We don't need, because we're playing Brighton at the weekend. We can't play Lindelof and Maguire at centre back against Brighton away. Well, sorry, it's not away. It's at Wembley. We can't play Lindelof and we can't. You've got to play Shaw and Lindelof. If Varane's thing is just a sprain, then Varane and Maguire's fine, or Varane and Shaw is fine. But we can't play Lindelof and Maguire against Brighton. We're going to get cooked. I think everyone is panicking when they score from 2-0. I'm not panicking. It's more frustration. And the fact that we give Sevilla momentum, and that we're now going into that leg without our two centre-backs potentially, and Bruno. So now our midfield looks like it's probably going to be McTominay. Bruno can't play. So it'll be Casemiro, McTominay, and then probably Sabitzer. Even though I would probably play Casemiro, Fred, and Sabitzer. Then, okay, I think that's a good enough midfield. I think that's still fine. But defensive-wise, who knows?
RDS.
The drop... Yeah, sorry.
I just wanted to add. I think the last time I was on the channel, it was in the fall. It was a long time ago.
Yes,
And
yeah.
I just want to commend. I mean, United is having a pretty solid season, and I want to just emphasize that I remember what we were talking about in the fall, and it was basically like apocalyptic. Like we were talking about the chaos and what was going on in United, but the way that they were able to sort of solidify themselves and at the same time seeing some other clubs in England just underperforming massively, it's a pretty interesting place. I'm sure you've thought about this a lot, but it's very interesting to see this now.
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, I'll say some points. I ranted for most of the stream, but what I would say though is that at the end of the day, my expectations going into the season were incredibly low. I predicted 5th place actually for Manchester United because I thought that Liverpool, City, I thought Chelsea with new owners with what they spent, Liverpool and I thought Conte would just maybe improve Spurs, Liverpool and City doing their thing. I just thought United would finish 5th. I didn't expect Arsenal or Newcastle to do as good as they have, and obviously that surprised a lot of people. I didn't expect Chelsea and Liverpool to bottle it as hard as they have. But if you told me at that time, okay, if you get top 4 in a trophy this season, will you take it? And I'd be like, yeah, I take it.
Yeah, definitely.
As long as United secure Champions League football, even if we get knocked out to the Europa League and FA Cup, whatever, I'll still say that's been a good season. Now get these new owners in, get them time of summer transfer window to spend loads of money to back the manager, and then we can start cooking next season. No problem. We're at least in a better position that way than where Chelsea are, where they're now on their 3rd manager in less than a year. Liverpool, who don't know where they're doing, what they're doing. So and Spurs, who I don't know what Spurs are doing right now, So, when don't misunderstand me, chat. Like I'm not panicking. This is not me panicking. This is not me saying Ten Hag out or stuff like that. This is just frustration in a situation where we clearly dominated this team for essentially 75 minutes, and then but for injuries, I would argue. Missed chances and poor substitutions, we've allowed Sevilla to come back into the game. But I still think that with the squad that we have, I think United can still go to Sevilla and get a result. Just as long as he plays Casemiro, Fred, and Sabitzer in that midfield. And I would say Luke Shaw at centre-back alongside Lindelof. With Malacia at left-back and Wan-Bissaka right-back. That should still be more than enough to be able to go Sevilla because we can play Rashford maybe touch and go, but Martial, Sancho, Anthony, that more than enough. More than enough we go and we'll kill the game off. So yeah, it's not a concern.
I would expect a tough game though, just to say. I mean, Sevilla's gonna be fighting like crazy, but you guys can definitely still take them.
Yeah.
But I will say, just to comment on today again, it felt like when after the substitutions happened, it kind of felt like the Man United where everything just kind of goes wrong, at the end of the game, everything just wasn't working out for you guys, and a lot of that was just due to luck and sort of.
But the only thing I'll say is that the only concerning thing I'm having so far, and maybe might change last season, but I'm just keeping an eye on it, is the mentality aspect. Something happened after Ollie's second season where just the mentality of these players just seemed to just disappear. Whereby what I mean by that is that I've only seen it once this season, and I think you could argue it was maybe against Southampton, and then there was one other game where you're like, okay, you're under pressure, okay, and you see out a game, and that comes with leadership. And whether that's because Bruno was off the field, I don't know. But as much as I credit what Ten Hag has done, guys, we've seen a handful of capitulations by this team. Whether it was against I see Don Smoke in the background, so he knows our capitulation away to City, our worst capitulation to Liverpool, and again in this game when there's pressure. The mentality of these players is still not strong enough to be able to see out the game. So you got 10 men. It's like, right, okay, we're down to 10 men. Right. We need to let's get organized. Let's get compact. Let's try and let's work for each other. Let's have a plan, whatever it is. when we're put under pressure, we just don't seem to be able to see out a game. And that, for me, I think is quite concerning, because you're not always going to have things your way. And when that does happen, where's the mentality? And so I think there's still a lack of mentality in these players that's lacking. So if that makes sense. Go on.
Yeah, I agree. That's a fair thing to say. And I know you're not Ten Hag out or anything like that. You're being
No.
You're just pointing out what you're observing. But I will say that once again, remember where the mentality of these players and their motivation was at one point this season. So I think the work that it's taken a lot of work, and I think that it's going in the right direction. But I do, maybe some players aren't fit for it and they need to be sold. But for the most part, I think you're building a foundation. You just have to, trust the process and let it build. I think though sometimes you made a good point where sometimes I think this is kind of like an Italian thing to do, where like you have a manager, and if you're winning in a knockout tie, for example, like you guys were today, you sometimes there's some Italian managers that, because for whatever reason they don't want to risk conceding, they tend to drop back and play it safe. And I don't know. I mean, I think the substitutions kind of that was played a larger role than tactics in this situation. But I don't know. I think overall, though, individual players should be blamed, and also sort of the misfortune of what happened. But definitely that mentality aspect is big as well. So.
Before I go to Don Smoke, Maguire's issues there is always a mistake waiting to happen. Yep, unfortunately. I'm sure Don Smoke will banter Maguire amongst other things. With new owners, we need to sell some players and replace. Yeah, exactly. There are a lot of players that still need to leave, and we can improve on if obviously that happens. AD says, shout out to AD. Make sure you go subscribe to this channel. Sorry, can't stay for long. McTominay's injured. Okay, well that's perfect. Gregory says Erik Ten Hag's just another Ollie. Fair enough. FB says I meant the panic. Oh, fans on Twitter. Oh yeah. Well, Twitter is a joke. Martial's been in the club for how long? Let's not get started on that. I have my Martial. Ten Hag has punched over his weight with the squad he has. He has major work ahead of him, a massive shake-up in the squad. Yeah, exactly. Which is why new owners are very important to come in, and we need to get that sorted. Our players are always injured. Why do they love Maguire? I don't think they love him. I mean, it's just we don't have any other centre backs. Luke Shaw is injured. Whatever you say, I mean, availability. I mean, come on. I mean, yes, Lindelof could have come on, but I think you need Maguire for his area ability. And injuries happen, unfortunately. That's why we need a better squad. Don Smoke, obviously you've come here to banter us, so by all means, you have the platform to banter us now.
Not even that. Yes, I'm a good guy. Like I don't like bantering.
Are you? I'm not sure about
How
that.
How you doing, yes?
I'm doing fine. How are you doing after you circumcised Bayern Munich and led to black on black violence, whatever that was?
I don't like bad things happening to good people, man. And I don't like seeing you sad.
It's frustration. It's frustration. Like Don Smoke, I know you want to banter, so just go. Just like I'm here. Go all out. I know you guys are likely going to win the league and the Champions League now. So just you could have your peace. Have your peace, man. Have your peace.
Yes, I wasn't watching this match until Sevilla scored the first goal. Right. When they scored the first goal, I just looked at the substitutes and the starting lineup, and I saw Sir Harry Maguire, and I knew it's about to get late. I'm like, okay, no, I have to tune in. That's when I actually tuned in, and I saw the pressure. I'm like, this can't be the great Old Trafford. Like, no. Like, there's a glitch somewhere. I'm like, this Sevilla struggling in the league.
We're down to 10 men. We're down to 10 men. 84 minutes. We're down to 84 minutes. But you're right. You're still right. We should still have had the mentality to see out the game. I agree with you. But we were down.
Because the funny thing is this, right? I saw the score in the first half. It was like, because I went to sleep a bit early and I woke up and I just checked the score. Normally before I watch Europa games, I just check the score to see if it's worth it. But Europa nights, it's actually for the mediocre teams, right? But let's put that aside. Right, so then I see the score 27 minutes or 30th, and it's 2-0. I'm like, I see a 5-0 thumping coming. And then it goes to half time. Okay, fine. I leave it, and I get someone send me a notification on my phone, like, hey, like we just conceded, because I have a lot of United fans, right, on my WhatsApp. Then I'm like, shit. But this is it's similar to that Arsenal game, right, whereby the delusional fans will be like, it's more of a good draw than points. No, it's points lost. Whenever you 2-0 up in a game, you should see it through, especially if you consider yourself a good team or a serious team, right?
Yes.
And now the thing is, I think in the past 2 years, Carrick has actually been your best manager, right? Do you miss Carrick? Before I move on, do you miss
I
Michael
don't.
Carrick?
I think. I think Carrick is doing a good job at Middlesbrough. So allow him to Carrick at Middlesbrough.
Forget Middlesbrough. I'm talking about
Allow him to
no,
it.
no,
Allow him
no,
to do it. Allow him to do it.
right.
Allow him to develop because what
No,
would have
because
happened?
the thing is, no, like RDS, for me, it's this thing is almost like premature ejaculation, in the sense that you guys got excited too early, and Ten Hag, because okay, he won you the Karabuki Cup, I get it, but he's been a bit inconsistent with the form, right? Because normally the thing is this: if you go on an upward trajectory, it should at least stay there or rise. Like, let me give you City as an example. We normally start slow, but once we peak, it's bye to everyone else besides
Yeah,
Madrid.
but come on, Don Smoke. This is his first season. You can't. First
But
season.
what about
First
Wreck-It
season in
Ralph?
the Premier
What
League.
about Wreck-It Ralph? Wreck-It Ralph,
Yeah, he came
wasn't
he came halfway through the through the season. Ralph Ragnick. I don't disagree that Ralph Ragnick should have been backed or supported. I don't disagree with that. But you know, he obviously the board didn't want him. He got sacked, etc. So like I don't
the thing is
disagree.
this: the thing with Ten Hag, and this is one of the issues with philosophy merchants. It's about adaptability. We've seen Ten Hag in Europe with Ajax do this before, right? Where instead of seeing the game through, be a bit more pragmatic. Because I can assure you something. Jose doesn't lose this game. Like
Yeah.
Jose would be like, screw entertainment. He'd be like, screw entertainment. We're gonna put a low block because
I mean, he did lose today though, but sorry, but go on.
No. But he doesn't have the caliber of players that Ten Hag has in this United team, right? Because the truth,
who were Roma playing today? Was it Antonio? Who were Roma playing?
Feyenoord.
Okay, well there you go. There you go.
They missed
There
the
you go.
penalty.
but yes, you're missing my point, right? In the sense that at the end of the day, and you've seen it with Pep now. Pep has become a bit more pragmatic because he realized that in Europe, it's all about spells in the game, right? And it's about riding the waves. Like at times you have to forgo ball possession.
Yeah, I
Right?
get what you're I get what you're saying, but even Pep, when he came to the Premier League, you said he had to adapt, he had to change to that. So
Yes.
this is at the end. This is Ten Hag's.
No, but
I'm not. You're not saying you're wrong, but at the end of the day, like you still gotta. Let's try and still be realistic. This is still his first season with only one real summer transfer window in a club that I don't know what's going on management leadership wise with sales, non-sales, backing, whatever. When you've got a squad that's quite thin, and your January transfer window. Well, shout out to Sabitzer, he played well today. Sabitzer actually for Bayern. He's probably better at Bayern United right now than Bayern, which is an absolute mess right now. And then Weghorst, who essentially, when you play a Weghorst, you're playing with 10 men.
But no. 10 men in the sense that he won't score. But context is important here. Or yes, you're playing against a washed-up Sevilla who are on their third manager this season, right? And you are 2-0 up. And now the thing is this: United could have won this tie in this leg, literally give Sevilla no hope, right? Because you had the chances to put them to bed, right? And now the thing is this: you've given the team which has Europa heritage a sniff, and you're going away. And when you're going away, you're not going to have Lisandro, you're not going to have Bruno.
That wasn't a yellow card. I'm sorry. I'll fight that with anybody. I didn't
watch it.
So So basically, what happened is that like I can't remember the Sevilla player. He basically blasted the ball like literally like point blank range against Bruno's arm, upper shoulder, and he got a yellow card for it.
Yeah, but refs are inconsistent, man.
Yeah,
You
I know.
You take it as it comes. But I'm saying the thing is this. What I'm trying to say is I've seen this movie before with Ten Hag. That's my point. And if you're an elite manager and you want to move to the next level, you need to learn very quickly, man. Because
the only thing I'll say is that like what I would say going to the next legs, I don't think that Ten Hag is going to. I think he's still doing a good job. Obviously, first trophy in 6 months, where United start position wise, and I also think that he'll look at this game when he goes to Sevilla. I highly doubt he's going to make, because one of the big issues as we talked about it was the amount of substitutions he made. So I highly doubt that in the next leg when you have to win, when you win the tie, that Ten Hag decides to take Martial off, he decides to take Anthony off, he decides to take, we might take Sancho off. You know, like I highly doubt he takes Martial.
Your backline. Your backline. The thing is, Lisandro's out. We don't know what varane. So you're most likely going to have Slobhead with Lindelof.
He'll probably play Luke Shaw with Lindelof, and then he'll play Martial on the left, and then Wan-Bissaka.
What about Slobhead? He's your captain. Slobhead is your captain.
No, he's done that before. Isn't that what he played against with you guys against City? Maguire.
But Slobhead doesn't play the Premier League.
He does. He played against. When did Maguire play? Not last game, but the previous game against. Who did we play before? We didn't play. Who did we just beat? Now I forgot. Let me get the fixtures up. I've forgotten. It wasn't the last. He played. Let me get. So, yeah, United fixtures. I'm fairly sure he played. Actually, it would be good idea to actually look at the fixtures. Actually. I'm surprised you've not. I'm surprised on Smoke you've not bantered Chelsea more. It just gotten so tired that it just doesn't really mean anything anymore.
You know, like it's London. It's London Blues, man. Like their own manager is bantered.
Yeah. It was the last game. It was Everton. Yeah, he played against Everton the weekend with Lisandro Martinez. I was like, he played recently. Yeah, it was against Everton. Yeah, we won 2-0, and he actually had a decent game against Everton. To be fair, for some reason, what's his name? Sean Dyche decided to come to Old Trafford and play a higher line, which I didn't quite understand.
The thing though is, right, what I've noticed about Maguire, his issues when he's playing under pressure. I mean, you go to Spain, there's going to be that crowd pressure. And whenever he has the ball, that's the thing. Whereby when you play at Old Trafford against Everton, right, it's home ground settings, and it's much more easier. So now this is the big issue now which you have to look at. Now the thing is this: ideally, Ten Hag would have wanted to get have that 3-0 advantage and not have to risk first team, because you're still in a top 4 race in the sense that a few bad results and Spurs.
No, we're not.
No, listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying.
Did you say Spurs? Did you say Spurs,
yes.
Don? No.
Who's the next team closest to you?
Come on, Don, man. Come on.
No, look at the table. Open the table. Wait, no, open the table. I'll tell you why. Right. So on you, so you have, yes, it's 3 points, even though you have a game in hand. Now the thing is this: most likely,
are you saying Spurs are going to get top 4, Don Smoke?
No. Listen to what I'm saying, right?
Okay.
Most likely next week you could play 120 minutes, and you would need your big guns to play, and including Martial. He could relapse. You could, because the thing is this: United have a very good starting 11, but after that you're thin. A big injury to one of your players, and trust me, it becomes anyone's game from there. So ideally, Ten Hag wouldn't have wanted to risk his players. Probably it will be we win 2-3-0 next week. 60 minutes, get the guys off.
Let me look at. So you're telling me, just out of curiosity, you're telling me
yes.
that Spurs will beat Newcastle away,
No,
beat United at home, and they'll beat Liverpool away.
no. So
That's
no,
9 points right there.
no. Listen to what I'm
Brentford
saying.
at home.
No. Spurs is a dodgy team, right? In the sense that you don't know which Spurs is gonna turn up. At home against United, it could be a draw or anything. God knows what's gonna happen. Against Newcastle, best result for them is probably a draw, or the most likely going to lose. But it's that thing of whereby if you guys get a big injury, right, with Martinez out and whatnot, trust me, it's going to be long.
I'm not saying that but what I'm trying to say is when you look at the United's last fixtures compared to Spurs fixtures, even with the injuries, United should have enough. They're playing Forest away now at the weekend, for example. Villa at home, okay, maybe might be tough. Yes, you said Spurs away, that's going to be an interesting game. Brighton away, West Ham.
Even Forest. Forest is not easy away. Forest is not easy away.
I know you guys drop points. I know.
Many teams drop points, not just us.
I know. No, I know. I get it. Don't so good. I get it. So, but like, I'm not saying United don't have and you know Antonio said here, but I don't want to jinx it, but no, I can't. Spurs, no.
I see an injury. If Eriksen does he still have heart issues?
Of course, he's got a pacemaker in. Of course, he's got sort of.
So what injury is he coming from?
Okay, so just because you're talking about the same Spurs. Do you see what I'm highlighting over here? Did you watch this game?
Inconsistent. They are inconsistent. That's what I said.
Do you remember where Southampton were? And we were playing with 10 men for 70 minutes. Okay, we scored 0-0. This is a Southampton team with 11 players. Do you know where they are in the league, Don Smoke?
Yeah, they beat Chelsea as well. That's Southampton for you.
Okay. Actually, to be fair, a fun fact. A third, I think it's a third. Someone told me I think a third of Southampton's points.
Yes, from the top.
Have come from beating Chelsea. So make of that what you Yeah, they've actually beaten them home and away.
Yeah.
How many more games until Chelsea is mathematically out of Europe?
Nah, they're out. They don't even need maths for that. They're out. I don't need mathematics.
I guess Europe is still 7th, which is Conference League. So that would be there's 7 points from 46 if you include Conference League as I
don't see them getting any points, man.
I don't either, actually. I know maybe this is going to make me feel a little bit better, but I mean,
they just came from extending Enzo. This came from extending Enzo's contract by a year.
To another year. Sorry. Oh, actually, I've completely forgotten the chat. Let me quickly read some of the chat, guys, before we round things up. Chris Matique says, I agree. Short of a centre back when he returns. Chris Matique says, with new owners, we need to sell 75% of the players they haven't placed on a 2-year period. I think I read that again. Ten Hag. Yes, our players. What is this City for the United channel? Just say on Ten Hag for no reason. Like he's a rival fan. He's a rival fan giving his opinion. He's a rival fan giving his opinion. And I did give him a lot of bans when we beat City at United. Antonio, obviously, Ten Hag is doing a good job. SMB says, yo, shout out to SMB, man. Always a pleasure. RDS, this whole thing is giving me United versus Villarreal vibes from that Europa final. A couple years ago. It is. But I like to think that over 2 legs, we should be able to get the job done against Sevilla.
Oh, knockout. It's not 1 leg. It's literally a knockout.
It's a knockout now. Because to be honest, aside from those two deflected shots, even with 10 man, Sevilla didn't even have any clear chances. Let's keep
the pressure. No. De Gea pulled off. I remember that one of those headers that was actually on target going in. De Gea actually had to pull off some blunders and a shot from Suso. No, like if there was another 5 minutes, it could have ended 3-2.
Yeah, of course. We're playing again. We're playing. Of course, when it's now like 89 minutes, and you're playing with 10 men, and you haven't sort of defend. Of course, it's going to be pressure. But obviously, in the second leg, you're not going to be playing against 10 men.
You have Maguire, so it's 10 men. You have Slotted, so it is 10 men.
I'm going to say that Maguire won't be playing. I'm going to assume Maguire's not playing that leg. But sorry, Anton, you wanted to say something.
I was going to say Anthony's shot, by the way, when I was looking at the replay of that, I think that must be one of like the most unlucky curlers you can do, because it was spinning, but the way it hit the post, it hit right center and it bounced. So even though the ball was spinning, it didn't spin into the net. It bounced like directly back off, which is, I mean, it was literally like maybe a millimeter away from going in.
That should have been the game. That would have been
the question. Is Anthony like banned from using his right foot in his contract?
He's very one-footed. He's very one-footed. I'll give you that. He's very one-footed. He's very one-footed. He's yeah. That's, I don't know what we're going to do with that. I don't. All I can say is, you know, he's at least improving. And just as you know, as a City fan, sometimes you have to give, you know, those expensive players, Grealish, maybe 1 or 2 seasons to sort of settle into their team before they start.
But that's a City thing. You guys can't use that explicit.
Well, we can. Yeah, you can. Grealish was a tried. Now he's better. Now, you know. You just
but that's a tried and tested ideology at City. You can't use that.
Well, what's a try to what, that you flop in your first season, then get good in the second?
Yes, because we've seen Sancho, we've seen so many players that your club don't. It doesn't cut it. That doesn't work at United.
I mean, well, yeah, Sancho. I don't know. I can't really say anything about Sancho. Oh wait. Yeah. Artist October. Yeah. I was going to do a video on it, but I didn't know whether to say it for the United forum or something else. Okay, I'll just keep this brief. Okay, first and foremost, okay, three things. Number one, and obviously, you know, Don Smoker's here. Bayern were garbage.
I wouldn't say that. We made them.
I don't think they were that bad, to be honest.
They weren't bad. We just made them look average. I don't think.
I know you did, but I've still seen them play better than they did against City. You know, but
they made individual mistakes. A lot of
maybe the word is Bayern lack composure. Maybe that's the better word.
But we pressed them. No, but we made them lack composure. It's not like they just came in. No, it's the way we pressed them.
I know, but I mean, like, compared to how they played against PSG, and this is what I'm saying. Where I was going to go into my other points about the fact that, like, you know, I'm still don't really understand what the Bayern board did by sacking Nagelsmann and bringing Tuchel in. I still think that was a mistake. And in the space of basically 1 week, you go from competing for the treble to potentially only competing for the single. And that's assuming they don't brick it in the league, because we'll see what happens. But actually focusing on this question, like, we don't know. It was wrong for Mane to punch Sané. Okay, that's wrong. And he's been suspended and be disciplined by the club. What I'm hearing, the alleged things I'm hearing, they're alleged. So we don't definitively know that that's what he said. The only thing that's giving me a concern is that it may be true is because Sadio Mane does not. I mean, I don't know him personally, but he doesn't give me the impression he's a type of player that would do that. I never would have thought Sadio Mane was like an aggressive type of player like that.
RDS.
Do that. So yeah. So go on, Antonio. Yeah.
Based on the background, I feel like this is why we all kind of feel like Sané must have done something, is because I feel like Mane has been like a person who, like you said, has never done this before, and also has a generally good, reputation in terms of what he does off the pitch. But Sané kind of strikes me as someone who has some attitude problems sometimes, and I feel like
does.
Don, you're a City fan, obviously. Because obviously Don is a City fan. You sat in City in here, like.
One of the reasons why he left was because of his attitude issues. Whenever we'd sub him early or not play him, and Pep got rid of him because of that. He's always had attitude issues. Even I remember within the German national team at one point, they froze him out because of that.
Mm.
I just think it's a City Liverpool thing. Like maybe Sonny reminded him 1 in 30 that you've only won 1 in 30. Must have told Sonny is successful, and Sonny was like, "Nah, fam, just 1 in 30." And it triggered him. So, or they were arguing on who's the better manager between Pep
Why
and
is he
Klopp.
1 in 30? Sai doesn't even have a Champions League. What's he complaining
No,
about?
1 in 30, one Premier League in 30 years. You're just reminding him.
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying, Sonny will go, well, I've won a Champions League. You haven't. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
it's
like,
just teammate
let's
banter. It's like Klopp only has 1 in 30. So
but
no,
even
but
then,
Sonny.
joking.
No,
Now,
but
go
the
on.
issue is
Go
Sonny.
on.
I'm not surprised that Sonny is involved. That's just Sonny. He has attitude issues, and things don't go his way. He normally throws a tantrum. He's like a little kid, right? And he has a massively inflated ego. That's always been him.
Sibir says Mane has never had hit anyone, but he has had issue at Liverpool. Do you guys remember that Mane was son of Klopp situation? Yeah, but still, like, even just forget about football aside. If I'm gonna punch someone in the face and make them bleed, they've got to do something or say something very, very disturbing for me to do that. Like, it's not like, yeah, I get people, yeah, I get annoyed, they lost 3-0, etc. So, but it's not like Mane's been spanked before in games. So I can't see it as that, oh, he was angry because of Bayern lost 3-0, blah blah blah. It can't be that. He's had this. He's been a point away from winning the Premier League against the City, so he's
Yeah,
experienced massive disappointment. So it
I
has
agree
to
with
be
you.
something.
If
Go on.
Arias, if Mane would have thrown hands, would have been at carriers for a Champions League blue.
Yes,
And he didn't.
exactly, but he didn't. So it's like, I can't think that this is purely sporting related. There must have been something serious that was said to him to provoke that thing or discussion. But again, allegedly, if what that stuff I heard allegedly that Sunday said is true, then I don't know where we go with that, because yes, that is, yeah. I mean, Antonio, do you have any last points about what before we move on? Because
yeah, no, I mean, I don't want to speculate too much, right? Because we don't know what exactly happened. But I agree with what you guys have been saying so far.
Right, let's just round us a final thing. So just quickly going to Don Swing. So just final thoughts. So how do you see the second leg turning out?
I think it'll go to extra time and Sevilla will win.
Thanks, Don Smoke. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Antonio, how do you see this?
Yeah, like I was saying before, I just had a feeling that Sevilla would go crazy with that Europe heritage in the Europa League. But United have a much better team, and Sevilla are really poor this year. So United should go through, but it really just it depends on what their mentality is, their attitude, and like the way they approach the game, because they're going to be in a pretty hostile situation. Because honestly, if Sevilla fans, this is all they can really hope for this season, and they, now that they smell blood, especially after this result, they're going to be ecstatic in the second leg. So I think that we could see an upset, but I will say that United should still go through.
Fair enough. Okay, I mean, like I said, I've looked at United's upcoming fixtures. I actually thought we'll play Brighton this weekend. It's not next one; it's next weekend. So hopefully Rashford will be available. They play away to Nottingham Forest, which will be, it's not going to be completely easy. Sevilla, the Chelsea game has been postponed to probably the last week of the season, God knows when. FA Cup, and then Spurs. Why are we playing them on a Thursday? The hell? Was that rearranged? I've got no idea. These fixtures. Anyway, but yeah, thanks to everyone who's watching. Really, really appreciate it. Make sure that you remember to like, share, and subscribe to Red Devil Studio, and follow us on Twitter, United X. Shout out to Don Smoke and Antonio for joining me in this live stream. We are going to be doing a Nottingham Forest preview. It's been disappointing. It's been very sorry. Make sure you subscribe, by the way. It's been a disappointing day, disappointing game. Okay, but United have to remain focused, go again on the weekend, and turn us around. Have a nice day, everyone. and cheers. Peace.